with the rules.
Let me explain something. It's a little unfair because I have been competing against, we started off with 17 people, and then we go down to 15, and then 12, and 11, and 10, and I had many, many people that I'm competing with. So, when you talk about the majority plus one, it's a very unfair situation because we had so many people running for office. So one would get 2%, one would get 4%, and I was always in the lead. I mean, just about from the beginning, I've been leading. But it's very unfair when I have all of these people running. It's not like I'm running against 2 people or 3 people. Hillary's running against 1 person. So I think that's very unfair, number 1. Number 2, I think I'm going to get the majority anyway.
But if you don't, will you abide by the rules?
Well, I think this. I've had many, many people running against me, which really, you understand what I mean. Mathematically, it's unfair. It's almost impossible to believe that I should do that I would be able to do it. I think I'll be able to do it. But I will say this. If I was at 1,190, so I'm a little bit off, and I have millions of votes more than anybody else, because right now I have 2 million votes more than anybody else that's running for office, okay? By a lot, not even close.
So are you calling on the RNC to change the rules if you're
I'm saying this.
You should still be the nominee?
I'm not saying this. I think it's going to be very hard for them to do. I have millions of votes more than anybody else that's running. Millions of votes. And again, that's also with a lot of people running. So, it's more difficult. But I say the majority is a tough thing when you have all these people. I mean, I had races, I guess it started off where they actually started the primaries. Well, what were there, 12, 14 people, something like that. Maybe even more than that. And then I'm supposed to get half. So mathematically it's unfair, but I still think
those are the rules.
Well, look, you're supposed to have 3 people, 2 people, 1 person. You're supposed to have people. You're not supposed to have 17 people running. I think I'll do it anyway. I think I'll do it. I may do it easily because I think we'll have a big night in Arizona, and I think we'll do well in Wisconsin. But I do say this, it's mathematically unfair. Now, if I have millions of votes more, and if I have 1,100 and somebody else is down in 400 or 500, I think it's awfully tough to take all of these people out of the system.
I want to play for you what the House Speaker Paul Ryan said about use the word riots if that were to happen. Listen to what he said.
Nobody should say such things, in my opinion, because to even address or hint to violence is unacceptable.
Now, you don't want any violence to emerge, right?
Of course I don't. They say it all the time.
Because you used the word riots twice.
I didn't use. I said very simply, if that happened, I'll have no part in it, but there could very well be riots. And you know that's true. I mean, are we supposed to be so politically correct?
I just want you to...
Are we supposed to be so politically correct that we're not allowed... I have people, millions and millions of people that have come out. It's the biggest story in world politics today, are the number of people that came out. I mean, these people are by the millions. And you see what's happening with the Republicans, and they're not coming for other people.
So I just want to be precise. Will you unequivocally say to your supporters, you don't want any violence, you don't want any riots at the convention?
Of course I would, 100%. But I have no control over the people. Look, these people have
a lot of control over the people. They listen. A lot of your supporters, they listen closely to what you're saying.
These people have been disenfranchised. They lost their jobs. They make less money now than they made 12 years ago. People that are working hard and working double jobs are making less money now in real dollars than they made 12 years ago. They see their jobs going to Japan and to China and to Mexico. Mexico, forget it, it's the new China. You know what? They're not by nature angry people, but I will tell you right now, they're angry people.
But you could calm them down.
I don't know that I
with your words.
I certainly try. I don't want to see, but they're very angry people. They have been misled by politicians for years, and they're tired of it. And that's why I'm doing so well, and that's why I'm leading.
Do you understand why there's a sense of unease about you out there in the general public right now?
No, I don't see that. I don't see that. I think I'll do very well in the general, and I think I'll beat Hillary very easily. And I think I'll bring in states like Michigan that was devastated by job loss. States like New York.
The sense of unease, some of the words that you've said, the violence at the campaign rallies that they see on television, the riots outside.
We have not had anybody hurt, really.
There's people that hurt.
Excuse me. I have 21,000 people showed up the other day to Arizona. I didn't have one protest. They tried to block the road, but outside of the road, once Sheriff Joe saw the cars, he moved the cars.
You canceled that whole event in Chicago because you were afraid people could get hurt.
Because I didn't want to see violence. I could have gone to that event very easily, and there would have been probably some problems.
But you can understand why some people are nervous.
I don't really. You know, when I go into those rooms, and I have by far the biggest crowds, much bigger than anybody, and much bigger than Bernie. He is second, I agree, but much bigger than Bernie, much bigger than anybody. You know that. I mean, we had 21,000 people in Arizona. It was like a love fest. Those rooms are wonderful, but here's what happens. Sometimes a protester, and I think they're professionals, they get into the room, and they start raising their voice, and they start screaming, and sometimes they get physical, very physical, and they start screaming and making noise, and it's a disgrace. Sometimes they put themselves in front of the entrance door so people can't get in. Sometimes they try and block a car by chaining themselves to a car in the middle of a highway. They're the problem. My people aren't the problem. They're the problem. And the news doesn't cover it. Let me tell you, you have agitators. These aren't even protesters. You have agitators. And they'll wait for me to make a final point, and just before, they'll start screaming at the top of their lungs. People are very upset about it.
Let me play this ad. This is a Republican super PAC. It's a very negative ad about you that you've seen, I'm sure, but I'll play it.
I'm sure I love seeing it.
A person who is very flat-chested is very hard to be a 10. I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that?
She had the height, she had the beauty. She was crazy. But these are minor details. I like kids. I mean, I won't do anything to take care of them. I'll supply funds, and she'll take care of the kids.
You know, it really doesn't matter what they write, as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of...
Has your language come back to haunt you?
No, I think people understand. I think people, first of all, half of that was show business. The dropping to the knees, that was in The Apprentice, the Rosie O'Donnell stuff. But I think people understand. Look, these politicians, I know them. They say far worse when they're in closed doors or where they're with a group of people that they trust. A lot of that show business stuff. And you know, in Florida, the amazing thing, they spent $38 million in negative ads on me. And you know what? I won by a record landslide. Pretty amazing.
But that's not how you feel about
Nobody,
women.
of course not. Nobody respects women more than I do. Nobody takes care of women, and they take care of me because they do such a great job.
Was it show business?
It's show business, or they... I don't even know some of those statements. I mean, I'm hearing these statements. I don't even know what they are. Nobody respects women more than I do.
Why do you keep...
And by the way, I'll take care of women with women's health issues far better than Hillary Clinton, who's a total phony, will take care of women, if she's even allowed to run.
Why do you keep attacking Megyn Kelly of Fox?
Because every night on her show, she does negative hits on me. Every single night. And frankly, if she didn't, her ratings would drop down far lower than yours.
Do you think it's presidential, though, to tweet about her, call her crazy
I don't
on
care.
Twitter?
It doesn't matter to me. Look, she hits me. She's got a television show. She hits me. When it's unfair, I hit her back. She was fair in the second debate. I thought it was fine. I mean, I thought she was okay. A little, could have done a little bit better, but that's okay. But I thought she was fine in the second debate, and I said it. I told people. They asked me, what did you think of Megyn Kelly? I said, I thought she was fine. Now, here's the story. Every night, the show is like an infomercial on me. Always negative stuff. Always negative stuff. Always. It's not fair. So I will fight back with Twitter. I will let people know she's a third-rate talent. I will say what I have to say. It's very simple. But it's not fair that she ever, let her not talk about me. And by the way, seriously, if she didn't talk about me, her ratings would go down like a rock.
Because Fox News issued an extraordinary statement. Your vitriolic attacks against Megyn Kelly and your extreme sick obsession with her is beneath the dignity of a presidential candidate.
She's got the obsession. She's the one that puts me on her show every night. Look at her show. Look at the airtime I get on her show. And I don't do her show. She wants me to do it so badly. Roger Ailes wants me to do her show so bad. They want to have a primetime special on Fox Network where Megyn Kelly interviews me. I say, what's in it for me? What do I get out of that? You're going to get great ratings. What do I get out of it? They want a primetime special. I said, no, I won't do it. So don't tell me about obsession. She should do somebody else.